Could be something good, it might be something bad. It always turns out with the things you see. I think it's just me. Good, bad, weird. Yeah. Good, bad, weird. Good, bad, weird. Good, bad, weird.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a great episode. You can tell it's going to be a great episode because Steph's back. Yay! Yeah, here she is. Hey, Steph.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
Pretty feeling good. Just back for a ride.
Very good.
Been riding this morning.
Yeah.
That was good. It was a good ride. Out with Baz, Teresa, Steve.
But not Couch Steve.
Not Couch Steve, another Steve.
Yeah.
Quick ride, quick blast. I have some repairs to do this afternoon on my bike. That's okay.
Of course.
Importantly, wife's bike's all fixed. Remember last time we had the broken hub? Well, Giant have sorted all that out for us, and we're back riding. So wifey's back doing the ride thing.
Awesome.
How you been, Steph?
I've been great.
Been good? And you've been bad? A little bit bad?
Oh, good bit bad.
Yeah.
But good.
Mostly good?
Yeah, we've got some good... last time we said we were going to check in on little Louis. We've got news on Louis coming up.
Louis news? Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And then we're going to get a bit heavy today, aren't we?
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah.
Christmas is fast approaching.
Faster than we know it. But that's okay. So, we're going to do a little bit of a catch-up, then do our heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff. This could be perhaps the heaviest we've ever been.
Yeah.
Episode 10, it's time to get heavy.
Yeah.
A little bit deep. We'll get a little bit heavy for a little bit and then just come back out of the heavy.
Yeah, and we will. We're not giving much away. I think people just really want to get on just get on with the show.
Yeah, what are we talking about? We don't even know.
Okay, so since last time we had a phone call from the hospital who said, we've got a cancellation. You can come in and bring that baby to do his allergy testing.
Oh, the allergy test.
The allergy test. So that childcare conundrum is definitely solved now. Little Louis went in for the day. He had...
it's a day trip?
Had a whole day.
Were you there all day with him?
All day. In a hospital bed, in a hospital ward.
Oh.
In a children's ward with very sick little children.
Oh.
Yeah. Hard stuff. But also amazing because it makes you check in and go, where does he because of eating?
Wow.
And we get to go home today, and that's awesome.
Oh man, heart goes out to all those kids in the hospitals.
And mums, they're
mums. Oh man.
Just...
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, anyway. So we did that. He had to eat egg. So we're in a room with 4 kids who all had all different allergies. His was egg, one had peanut, and one had banana.
So what's the best way to test these allergies? Give them the food.
Yeah.
Here you go, and then you're in the best care possible.
You are. You have a qualified nurse in the room. She does not leave the room. She's got adrenaline. She's got antihistamine. She's got all the drugs.
And that's just for her, to keep her going, right?
All the breathing stuff's there.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And he had to have it in a muffin. Louis never had a muffin before. So we had to cook it in a muffin. And so you had to break it into... You had to cut a muffin, right? Into a quarter, an eighth, a 16th. How the freak do you cut a little muffin into quarters, eighths, 16th? So he had the 16th first, and then his eyes were like, oh,
delicious.
Oh my God, he was so excited that for the next 2 hours he cried because he wanted the next bit of muffin. But they have to do it in 20-minute increments. So for 20 minutes he cried, not 2 hours.
Wow.
20 minutes he cried, muffin. So to try and distract him.
They're pretty nice. I think I can feel that way sometimes about muffins.
So, and then he got to eat that. So throughout the day, he didn't react. No allergic reaction recorded to baked egg, so cooked egg. So that's a thumbs up. That means he can now go to daycare. So that conundrum is solved. I do want to share with you something really lovely that happened while we were there.
Yeah.
So, kids ward, Christmas, it's hard times. Then in walked this group of about 10, 12 people who have a whole gamut of additional needs. So some like young adults, maybe around 15. So some had Down syndrome and some had intellectual disabilities, but they were with their group that they would go with.
Yeah.
They had a fundraiser, took it upon themselves to have this pajama day. They did the fundraiser so they could buy gifts for kids and deliver it to hospital.
Man.
So we saw them giving these amazing gifts and the look on their faces and the kids' faces. And I was
Everyone was having a ball.
heartfelt, just going, this is amazing. Actually, this whole experience has been so good. And then they came into our room and I was like, oh no, we're just here for the day. He doesn't really need...
It's allergy day. It's all right.
He doesn't deserve, really, like, it doesn't need...
He's had his muffin. His best time of his life.
And they still really wanted to. So they got to sit on the floor with him and play. And he got this tool set. He got this drill. And he is thrilled with the drill.
Drill through.
Best thing ever. And the look on their faces when they saw how happy he was... I was getting emotional.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful. So I just want to say, there are good people out there who do really amazing programs just because they want to.
What a great day for everyone.
Yeah.
They would have just had, everyone would have been buzzing.
Totally.
But you saw it, yeah.
Yeah, and it was,
That's amazing.
Yeah, chatted with
really
some
cool.
really cool mums who having a really crap time. One little boy had
man.
kind of split his lip from here up to his nose and there was just nothing.
How?
And he had to run into the car, and her husband's away for work. And, it was on the side.
Chasing cars? Like.
Well, he just ran into the door,
kid.
and you know, her
Oh,
husband
man.
wasn't
Yeah.
around, and
Oh.
they were waiting for surgery for like 17 hours, and she had to try and keep him occupied and he wasn't allowed to eat.
I've been really fortunate. I think I've had one hospital visit my whole life with, really very nothing. Really.
Not for that.
That's a recent. That's this morning. That's just a little stick flick.
Oh.
You get those on
Do
most
you need a
rides.
Band-Aid?
No, I'm not going to bandage that one. I'll be
Okay.
alright. I'll be alright. Thank you. Yeah. And Edda's like that. She checks me out. Right, you've been riding. Where are your injuries? No. Yeah. She loves it. She only rides the fire trails at the moment. Like the worst that Anita's ridden is just like the fire trail. And anytime a little stick flicks up or something, she'll call it stick flick. She's really excited. Oh,
So
got a little
cute.
mark on my leg.
I've got my war scars, and that's awesome.
Your war scars.
Yeah, it'd be like her
Oh yeah.
badge of honour.
Yeah.
For mountain biking.
Yeah. A friend of mine who I ride with, Mika, actually, she started naming them by the month. That's November. That's awesome.
Yeah. I think I've got some 2015 like big stacks.
Look at that.
The
So quickly we're
National
talking about
Park.
mountain bike riding again. What a great thing.
I think this would just be called Good, Bad, Weird Mountain Biking Kids.
Could be. It's a big part of my life now, as you know.
Conundrums.
Now, if any listeners out there need their bike servicing, drop us a hello. This is a workshop now, isn't it? The whole studio has become a workshop.
Could you imagine the amount of inquiries you're going to get now?
Challenge me to one. Just one.
And if you bring a mug, you get a bonus point.
What do you want with the mugs?
So we want people to send in their mugs to us, and we will drink the tea.
Steph, this is a mug just straight out of the cupboard. Steph's just turned up here, peppermint tea, get amongst it. And then she goes, what's on my mug? And I hadn't even thought about it. And here it is. And then Steph's like, let's get some mugs going. The mug shop.
I think a mug shot's really good. So if you've got a local business in the Illawarra or regional, like let's support Region 2, and you want to promote your business on our Good, Bad, Weird vodcast,
Just
like
for the
how I
hell of
just
it.
changed the name of it to
Yeah.
vodcast.
Local businesses.
Oh,
Look at me with
yeah.
my new haircut. Got my haircut yesterday. Thank you, Ellen. And as I'm leaving, she's like, wine? I'm like, oh, no gifts, no, that's fine. And she's insisted, like, no, you're a client, And so she's handing out.
Stop it. Aren't you meant to give the
Seriously?
gift? Why didn't
I didn't. This has
See,
spun me out.
The gift of giving. People are getting into the good parts of Christmas.
The good parts of Christmas.
Yeah, but you have to stay tuned because that's our episode for next week is all Christmas as the lead up gets closer to Christmas. So,
Where are we going?
it's time. It's time to get heavy.
Heavy.
It is.
Heavy
yeah.
it up.
So, it's hard because we've been smiling, so I
Yeah.
do look like I am happy.
No, we got to
it's-
smile. You got to smile through these times.
It is time to get serious. So we did take a break from our first episode to now. They were meant to be weekly because an incident. What's
Somebody took their life, didn't they? And that was huge. The impact that has on so many people, far out. And it's a tough area to. It's the worst thing. For someone to take their own life, man, come on.
It's really hard. And so, seeing as we talk about taboo topics, suicide is one of the biggest taboo topics out there. I think social media, there's a little bit about it. I've seen a couple of things where there's these really awful kind of groups that encourage people to do it.
Oh no!
For real.
Stop it.
Yeah, young
Oh, I
people.
didn't know. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, these influencers who get on there and kind of almost like dare them. So that you get on there if you're not feeling great. It's really underworld. It's quite black web stuff. And I saw a doco on it.
That's a shame.
I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, okay.
But it's around. But I think for our generation, it was a very taboo thing to talk about. And people would say, oh, they passed away. And they wouldn't really go into great detail. And so because we don't talk about it, I think that's another isolating factor on top of why people already feel isolated in the first place to even consider suicide or to think about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about from postnatal depression side of things, because I probably have a little bit more experience in that, but I thought you might like to share what happened, because it does affect everyone, and I didn't know the person directly, but I felt for all of them around that person.
Yes. So it was a colleague of my wife and a friend, because working closely with somebody over a time, you get close to these people, and so he took his own life, which was just devastating. And his best friend actually found him, and just devastating. It is devastating. And then of course the parents are still around. They've had to come down and start cleaning up everything, and they're looking for reasons, and everyone's soul searching, and then everyone starts blaming themselves, and could we have done more? And and it wasn't a last minute, it wasn't a split second decision. It was very well planned, and and it was going to happen. I don't no one really could have. I don't know if anyone could have stopped this. It's like some people don't let on in their way at all, and they don't want to be talked out of it.
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? So from things that I've read and the very little I've heard about it, is that it doesn't, generally speaking, wake up one day for people in general and just decide on the day. It is usually something that is planned. It is usually something where people have either tried to reach out or didn't know how to reach out, or maybe left little clues that people did or didn't pick up.
That's what I'm sort of reading, is generally there's clues.
Yeah.
But
so I had a friend in high school who did a couple of years after we left high school, took his own life, and being quite young, really hard to understand why would he do that, but more so than why his family decided to not honour him in a cemetery anywhere, because we were from a different perspective. So as a friend, we were like, oh, that's really sad, that's horrible, why would he want to do that? And again, looking for reasons, and people would say, oh, maybe he was in the closet, or maybe he was this and that, and it doesn't fucking matter why. It just matters that he couldn't get help or didn't want help, like you said.
I just feel like nothing's gonna help.
The pain's too hard, it's too heavy, it's too much. And I think when we with the Are You OK Day, they've kind of really, and social media have kind of really brought it to the forefront of mainstream media, that we need to check in on people. And I was watching a post on on Facebook just yesterday from a mum. She's quite an influencer. She's got a lot of followers, and she talked about mental health. And she's spot on, because she said everyone has some element of mental health along the spectrum where they get sad or depressed or anxious or all of the above.
Yeah, and it can last for some time. Like, you know, it's not just, I feel a bit sad this morning. You know, we're talking, oh man, I've just had a week of feeling quite low, say. You know.
Or just not knowing how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like,
feel different.
Yeah, or you just feel numb, or whatever it is. It's sometimes you can't even recognise the signs either. You have no idea. So, yeah, I mean, it's heavy. And I think it's good for us to open the conversation so that if anyone is watching this and are feeling heavy or sad for a longer period of time than the typical, oh, that was an incident, I feel sad and I'm okay now, that they've got to know where to go. And I think we decided to talk about it now, especially leading up to Christmas and leading up to a season that is meant to be so joyous and everyone's celebrate and everyone's happy and the family get together, but it can be so lonely for so many people.
I think that's kind of helps accentuate the loneliness when everyone's supposed to be probably stressed, a lot of more stress this time of year.
Yep.
Because a lot of families are getting together. Some people may not feel like getting with their families, and that highlights the loneliness or
financial pressure,
or the regret of, you know, I haven't patched up things over the last year. That sort of finance, it'd be a massive thing.
Finance is huge, and as the year comes to a close, people think, I didn't achieve this, I didn't do that, I didn't, and it's lots of down. It's and when you think you're supposed to be happy and you're looking at the Hallmark Christmas, and if you're not that, like if you turn on your TV and you can't see yourself, if you can't relate and just think, well, I don't feel like that and I'm not going to have that, it can lead you on a spiral that goes down pretty quickly.
Sure. I can't talk from experience. I can only try and imagine, or through what I've read and all that, because I've never been there myself.
Okay.
Right. I've never gone to those depths. So, yeah, there's probably people watching this who may have. I don't have any idea. I can only assume. We did have another friend. Like, so you can't always tell the signs, because we had another friend who took her life, and she spent New Year's with us here, and we had an amazing time. Like you know, it just puzzles you, because she spent time with us and then she went away, and I think it was 2 weeks after she took her own life, and it's what
around this time,
and it was planned months in advance. Months in advance we found out. So what are the signs? You know, like,
well, from
how would you well, we're all just in total disbelief, and Frank was like, what?
So the only thing I really know is that they start giving away their worldly possessions. When I say they, and I don't want to take away individual people.
This is a really tough conversation, isn't it?
I really want to be careful in what I say, because I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want to upset anyone who's been through this, because it's really, really hard. So from my understanding, one of the signals can be giving away things, worldly possessions. So things that mean something, and just gifting it without too much explanation. And then having this euphoric happiness just prior. Because the decision
the end is in sight.
Yes, the pain will end, and so the decision has been made, and the follow through and the lead up to that is it's like euphorically okay, because they know it will end.
You know what? You say the pain will end. The pain will end for them because there'll be nothing, right?
Yeah.
The pain that is put on to the people who remain is just through the roof.
Beyond what we can,
man.
What you can't even express that in words, what it does to people, I think. So I can share with you, I've been there in a really dark place. Yeah. For different reasons. So post-traumatic stress and postnatal depression are two different things, but one can quickly turn into the other. And a lot of mums experience this.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yes, right, yes.
And it can
So
be
from
really...
a mum's point of view, here we
Yeah,
are.
so this is mum talking and from personal experience talking now. So it's a different thing. And I think it's very quickly trivialized by people saying, oh, wait till your milk comes in on day 3. That's when all your emotions and your hormones go crazy and you'll just cry a lot.
Wow, that sounded really technical.
Right? That's true. That happened. When the hormones kick in and your body's changing.
Day 3 after the birth.
After the birth.
Day 3.
So that's usually the day 2 to day 3 when everyone's bloody, coming in the room, unannounced, in hospital visiting or at your house visiting because they want to see the baby. And that's lovely, but they all want to hold the baby, but no one really wants to hold the mum.
Mums are in no position to be doing this, right?
They don't want to be holding the mum. So I kind of knew this a little bit even before Elsie and put pretty good boundaries in for family and friends. I said, look, we'll let you know when we're ready.
That should be the blanket rule for everyone, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. But it's not always easy to communicate. It doesn't always go down well. And
Should just be known then. It just needs to make a public announcement.
Yeah.
Give them how many days, Steph?
A text, a call, anything,
yeah,
and allow mums to say,
be honest, just go.
Not today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in a couple of hours, or maybe I'll go in and have a rest where you can come and hold the baby, or put a load of washing on for me, something, or whatever it is. So anyway, that's beside the point. But I do remember when,
because you're home now, generally.
Yeah,
by that
pretty
time.
quick.
Yeah. Wow.
So
just like a factory, just pumping you out, just next in, out, home,
although
on your own.
my experience
What happens now?
with the second was totally different.
Yeah.
So with Louis, we went to a different hospital and stayed the whole week. And it was amazing because the support was there.
Planned or because of
No,
complications?
totally planned.
Totally planned. The plan was we're here for the week.
So when you go to a private hospital, you have that option. In a public hospital, you don't get that option. You're in, you're out. Unless you have complications or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't get to stay. So with a private hospital, they suggest a minimum 5-day stay. And at first I thought, oh, God, I'm not staying that long. I can't be away from Elsie. She's only a baby. But I really agree that it was a really good thing for me. So you got to bond with your baby. Elsie would come in and then the food would be there and 24-hour support. And it was a really good feeling. To have that. I was a bit scared to leave, actually, but everything was cool. Like, he was cool. He was feeding. We were like, oh yay, we've got this, and went home. And within the next week or so, everything started to unravel really quite quickly. He started having feeding issues, and so we did the whole, is it colic?
Was that the allergy sort of stuff?
Yeah, because at first, like, is it colic? Is it wind? Is he getting enough? Is he not getting enough? Am I burping him enough? And it got to the point where he started crying 24/7. We were at breaking point. So Tom and I were taking shifts. Tom was wearing him in a pouch and trying to work at night, and he could sleep upright. So then we thought, it has to be reflux. He was too little to have reflux medication, so we used to just...
Oh, right, wow.
Yeah, so Tom used to wear him.
Yeah.
And I'd try and get some sleep, and then we had the toddler, and it's like no different to any other house with young babies with some kind of sleeping, feeding issues. But then we also had my injury issues from the first birth that would make things harder because I couldn't stand up and hold him. And so then I think I remember on Facebook one night, and he was just screaming the house down, just desperately asking for someone for one of those little swing things. And my friend had one. So we were like at her door getting this swing thing. She's like, I didn't get a chance to wipe it. I'm like, I don't care. Took it home, put him in it. And it was the first time he'd slept for longer than...
Because of the swing?
40 minutes, yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, wow. Yeah.
So for, he did this back and forth, and it was amazing. We all just went, oh.
Is this a note? Did you know that this may help? Obviously, because that's why you asked one, right?
Well, no, I was just trying everything.
And you just went, maybe a swing.
Maybe we'll just try this.
Because there's a point to listeners. We're having this. Remember the swing.
Because the swing is upright, and just having that movement kind of just gets everything moving.
Make me pretty sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that worked for about a week. And then he started crying again. And so in my mind, I was like, how do I fix this baby? I can't get him to stop crying. I think I should know what I'm doing. I'm a parent. The doctors weren't really
the pressure you put on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure every parent does
Yes.
that. Oh, man.
And I do remember hitting a really dark patch very quickly. So I remember he was laying on our bed, screaming his lungs out. I was trying to wrap him up nice and tight, and he was just screaming and screaming and screaming. And I just remember falling to the floor and just crying.
You guys.
And thinking,
oh, yeah.
Fuck it.
Your wits end then.
Just cry.
Yeah.
And then the guilt quickly snapped me out of it. And I'm like, holy shit, you can't just leave him on the bed. Like, he was only 3 weeks old. I knew he wouldn't roll off, but at some point I was like, but it might stop the crying if he did. What the fuck? You don't think that. Like, you can't think. So
but you can see why you got there.
I know why I got there.
Yeah.
And so then it was at that point.
Yeah.
On that day, I rang and asked everyone for help, and not people, services. So they've got this Tracilian care where you go and stay with your baby and they work through some issues. It's like a hospital setting. Mm-hmm. They've got Karatani. They've got these places. So I did the ring around, desperate.
So what you're trying to say is, don't get to the point of where you're collapsing on the floor in tears and see.
It's really hard to see.
There's a lot of people,
signs.
a lot of services there to help. Just in an instant, it's just asking it.
But
Uh-oh.
they were fully booked for months. And I said to one lady on the phone, I'm not going to fucking survive a few months, I don't think, actually. And neither is my husband. We're working around the clock. We're trying to tag team. He's trying to work. We have a toddler. I don't think we're going to survive.
What are you supposed to do? Book in advance?
Well, yeah, I'll get to that. So then then I had this amazing lady come into our life. She's from a place called Whispers Cottage. And you don't go and stay there, but she comes to you. So thankfully, my mum and sister paid for her.
We need to put all these links on the end of this episode, yeah.
Definitely. And she's like my guardian angel. Her name's Marnie. And she came to the house and she was methodical. And I needed that. I didn't need this bloody try this or maybe that. It could be that. Just see what happens. Like, we fully changed our diet. Like, it was really an intense time. She was methodical and I needed that. So I fed him, she weighed him. And then I fed him and then she weighed him and she said, he's not getting enough. Okay, so not enough breast milk. I'm like, okay, right. So that then said to me, that makes sense. He was not getting enough.
Right. Let's put some science
no
in
one
this.
says,
no
one says that. The midwives just keep
I would never think of that.
pressuring you to just keep going. So you're like, yeah, you do. But at some point she said, he probably is just not quite getting enough. And he was not putting on weight as well. And so,
wow, man.
And so,
parents.
yeah, she was an angel and she helped us through this. And at one point, so I'd ring her every day. I'd text her every day and nothing was a problem and it was never too much. So we paid this one fee and then I have access to her even till today. If I rang her right now, she would help me. She's been amazing. And so I rang her one day. I was bawling my eyes out because we were starting to do some complementary feeding. So that's breastfeeding and then bottle feeding. And he was vomiting. So he started not just milk burps, but like bleh, everywhere. And I was like, oh, God. So we're trying these different things. And I just said, I can't do this anymore, actually. I felt like a real failure. I was saying things to Tom. And anyway... So she suggested a place in Sydney. She said, give them a call. It's like another one of those services. And it was called the St. John of God Hospital. And I was like, we're not religious. I don't think that's for me. Sorry. So I rang them anyway. In desperation.
Yeah.
I said to the lady on the phone.
You could be for that moment if you needed to be. If it was essential.
I said to the lady on the phone, oh my goodness, I just don't even know my baby. All I know of him is the top of his head. Because he's always he was sitting in the pouch on me or I see the top of his head on Tom. I don't see his face. I love him because I have to love him and I want to love him, but I don't know him. And she said, darling, you need to get yourself here. We will have a space for you in a day.
Just like that.
Just
okay.
like that.
Yeah. How did that feel after that call? You felt like, okay.
I was crying.
Yeah.
I was crying when she was saying to me, you need to come here now. I'm telling you, not it's an option anymore. And I thought, oh, wow, this isn't me. I felt like over the phone she'd kind of just given me this big hug. It was so good. The issue was Elsie couldn't come.
Yeah.
And I didn't cope with that very well. So I'm like, she has a dad and she loves him, but it's not with us. So they said, just come, just get here.
Yeah.
So we did. We arrived, got to the lovely chapel. As you walk in, there is a chapel. And they took us in, and then they opened my bag. Some nurses came in with some gloves on and bag searched me. And I looked at Tom and I was like, what the fuck? What's happening? And they just explained to us that they're checking for medications or anything dangerous. And I thought, nope, just some nappy cream and baby stuff. Okay, sure.
Yeah, okay.
So then that night he had to go home to Elsie and we were there. And so she said, okay, so this is the program. This nurse came into the room. The rooms were lovely and very private and own bathroom, own little space for Louis and a cot. And I was like, okay, this is quite nice. TV, it's not too bad. She came in and sat with me for about 2 hours and explained what happens at that service. And she said, so for the first week, we take him at night time and we'll feed him. So you can express milk or whatever, but we'll feed him with a bottle. The second week, you'll take him one night and we'll take him the next night. And then by the third week, he'll come and sleep with you every night. I was like, no, I'm just here for the couple of days and then I'm going home, right? I was not...
You thought they'd get all this fixed a couple of days, just need a little bit of intervention and we're all good.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they do this, the thing that got me is what they do this pediatrician visit on a Wednesday and I was there on Monday. I was like, yeah, I'm going home Thursday, right? That's okay. He just needs to see the pediatrician, work out what's happening with his vomiting and we're going home. So then the next day she said, oh yeah, and you need to come to these sessions in the morning. I was like, no. So I didn't go. I was like, And then I rang my mum going, I think I'm in the wrong place. I think this is like a mental hospital. What the hell? What is this? Like, what have I just got myself into here? And I honestly...
Yeah, okay. It's kind of making sense though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But not for you at the time, yeah.
No. And so I saw some mums in the lounge room. I was like, I don't really want to talk to anyone. I just want to get him fixed and go. And then they said, if you want to stay, you need to talk to someone. So if it's not the group, we'll put you in contact with a psychologist.
You need to start talking
Psychiatrist.
to somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see, this is what I mean about signs. I had no idea. I had no idea how fucked up I was until I started talking. How depressed I was, how anxious I was, because on the outside I was even convincing myself that I was fine.
Powerful.
I believed my own shit.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until maybe after he'd seen the pediatrician, I started going to group. I'm like, okay, I'll go. And then I sat in the room with these mums who were normal like me. They all had careers. They were high-flying women. They were, very independent financially, had other children, had houses and mortgages, and they were not mental cases. Yeah. I was looking at myself, just going, oh, wow. I'm getting goosebumps now, just thinking about it. And big little things, right, Simon? So one day, the lift broke and you had to go to the kitchen to get your meal. And so in my mind, I was feeding Louis and I went up to the kitchen and they'd shut. And I'd said, well, you can't shut because I was feeding my baby. Like, what the heck? Yeah. So I went back and I complained. I was like, well, what am I going to eat now? And it got sorted. But the next day at group, I got to learn about myself that not everyone in that situation would complain. So there was other mums, same as me, feeding, who missed dinner, who said nothing and were happy to say nothing. And so my black and white thinking was like, well, no, everyone would complain. Why wouldn't they? I got to see within myself that my rigid thinking probably got me there. Me trying to be the perfect mum and fix my son got me to the right place because I got to then start thinking differently. feeling differently. I was still adamant I wasn't having medication. It was offered a couple of times and they thought I was that bad. But I said, you need to give me more time because I'm learning about myself.
Very quickly, obviously, yeah.
I don't want to add complexities of medication. And 3 weeks later, I was still there. And I went home halfway through because they send you home for just to see how things go. Things went to shit really quickly. Then we realised Tom needed to be there. So he came back with me for a weekend.
So it was you and Louis for 3 weeks?
Yeah. No Elsie, no Tom.
Visiting?
Once or twice on the weekend.
Right, wow.
That was really hard.
And that was quite strict?
Oh, no.
They
could come and visit, but it was 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
She was still little. He was still working.
Yeah.
So he was with her all night and then working during the day. So it just had to be that way. The guilt about leaving her subsided a little bit with the right support from them.
Yeah.
But, just talking, just opening up to strangers is probably easier than family. So I was sharing things with mums about...
Yeah, I can understand that, yeah.
Yeah, the grief I was carrying about the birth trauma from the first birth, I hadn't said anything and I'd maybe said a couple of things, but not much. But yeah, just that you think you're going to strive for something, you can do anything, and then when that picture doesn't marry what's happening, you need mental support. So I think by me sharing that, I'm hoping people can recognize you can't do everything on your own, even if you are superwoman and supermom. Sometimes you need to let people in. It was hard to let people in.
That's the hardest thing, isn't it?
To support you. And then another thing on top of that, I will say, especially for mums, is that once that sleep deprivation, serious sleep deprivation, it probably took 3 or 4 nights of sleeping 6 hours or more. Once that was topped up, when I had energy, I could think better.
Yeah.
I could feel better.
Oh yeah, I think we all know what that's like when you haven't slept too well. Man, it compiles really quickly, and you're really starting to in a downward spiral, aren't you?
You actually physically, your brain can't work very well, even if you want it to, and think, that's my job as a mum, or that's my job as a shift worker, that's just what I have to do. It's not true. You need to have that replenishment of energy to be able to keep going. So I will say, and the stigma and taboo about getting mental health support, I think is slowly peeling away.
I hope so.
Yeah. And I never told anyone that story until I wrote it in the book because I was ashamed. I didn't want people to think I was weak. I didn't want people to think that I couldn't do it. But was it really that bad? It's just a crying baby or whatever. I was worried what other people think.
I haven't been there.
Yeah, so that's I'm
going there through your experiences though, for sure.
So I didn't know I was there until I was in the right place for support, which is why I think it's at the end of this we're going to have links, so many links.
We've got to, yes.
And what I would say is that when the other 2 services were fully booked and I didn't particularly find the phone lines helpful, like the ones you call up if you're not feeling great, Lifeline.
These are important services. You didn't have great experiences from them.
I don't think I could even say the right words to get the right help.
Okay.
But I was lucky that I had Marnie.
These are men professionals that on these DNA. Just call. Just speak to someone if you need to, and if you're going to get there.
Yeah, because what I would say is that the first one wasn't great, but I did ring back. And then you might get someone different, like the breastfeeding hotline. I think I spoke to 5 different people, and when I got to the 4th or 5th call, it was helpful. You just have to keep calling out. And if it's not your connection, say, it's okay, hang up. And you're very unlikely to get that same person. You ring and ask.
Of course, you got someone different on the end. And, what problems are they going through? What was their last call? Oh, man. Yeah. A bit difficult to try and be sympathetic at that time, isn't it?
I guess. Yeah, true. And
people,
at the end of the day, we're all human.
Oh, man.
Right? So they might not be able to fix you, but you need to just keep going and keep trusting the process. So I had to go there and trust the process. It took me a while. But when I did, I left a totally different person.
Far out.
Yeah. With now the ability to say to people, I go to regular counselling sessions because I do. Not because I'm still needing to be fixed, but it's almost like you go to your physio when you've had an injured foot, and then even though it might be feeling okay for a few weeks, it might start niggling again, so you go back. And that's the same with mental health. You're not feeling so great, you go back.
Yeah, there's a lot of stigma around that, unfortunately.
Why?
I don't know.
Where does it come from?
This has been a long episode already.
Has it?
Yeah.
Because it's heavy. It needs to be, Si.
That's okay.
So I think we've kind of delved down, opened the can of worms, talked about how support can help.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't always
massively.
work for everyone, but you need to try.
Amazing experience you went through.
Try.
Great, example there, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Far out.
Yeah. So now where to from here? What do we do? Like, how do we help you?
Far out. That was a journey, Steph. You've just taken me on a big journey.
Yeah, and it's heavy. And so I think it's important for people to give someone time, even if you have the inkling that they are doing a little bit of I'm drowning here, but I don't know what to say. If someone says to you, I don't even have dinner ready, I'm so tired, I'm really stressed, talk about that some more with them. So can I send you a pizza over? If you got someone coming over soon, like, don't stop the conversation when it feels like it's going to get hard.
I'd be guilty of that. Oh, okay, yeah, no worries. Oh, I'll leave you to it.
We all do. And this is why I think we're helping people now. You don't need to do that. That person could say, yeah, we're good. I've got it covered, no worries. And then you can say, I'll leave you to it. But it's just asking that question, I think. Yeah.
And knowing what's available.
Yeah.
What other support is available. Yeah.
I remember,
and that there is support available.
Totally. I remember your beautiful wife reaching out to me because I'd been there. She knew a little bit about it when she had a friend who had a baby that were having some tricky times, and she said, tell me services, I don't know them. And I just sent a message with all of them so that they could send the links to them. But it really took my...
Even that could be overwhelming, couldn't it?
That's what I was saying. It's too much information overload. It took my mum and sister buying this service for me and her rocking up to start the process.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
sometimes you might just need to buy something and like you said, perfect thing. So part of my solution for this for mum is that I want to make the small wins about childbirth better. That's the Brave Mama journey. Is that if you are flagged, which I was, as having anxiety, depression or whatever pre-pregnancy at all throughout your life, which we probably all have, then I think your name goes down on the list at these services before your baby's born, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's probably happening in the background. Is it?
No.
Someone should know. It's
No,
not.
no,
That's
no,
right.
no,
No,
no.
it's not. It should. Is that what you're saying?
This is the small win I want to advocate for.
Oh, okay.
So that your name goes on that list. So when your baby's due and you have that baby, and then that week to 2 weeks later when all the adjustment is intense and you might have issues, you can go. If you don't need that spot, guess what? It goes to the next person. But at least if people are penciled in, flagged, someone go in and check on them, it's got to be a good start. Got to be.
That's the move.
Yeah, I think so. Watch this space with that one.
Oh, nice. You've got a project on.
I have 50 projects going on all at the same time.
All the time.
You know me. But that's one of them, for sure. That's one of them where I think it feels like it would be an easy win. It would be a really easy thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know how to make change like that, but I hope so.
I will.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
So yeah, I think, righto.
Wow, that was heavy.
Christmas is coming. What we're saying is this. If you're not feeling great, tell someone. Tell anyone. Pick up the phone to a stranger. Sit on the couch with your friend.
Or look for the signs. Just think about close friends or anything, look at other signs.
Check in.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's a hard one. It is a hard one, but we certainly will have an overwhelming page of links for people to have a look at for
You'd be
postnatal
totally
stuff.
overwhelmed.
Yeah, sorry, but somewhere to start.
We're not professionals in this.
We're not
not
professionals,
like that,
but in the same sense, I haven't studied it, but I've lived it.
Yeah.
So it's a different professional experience, maybe. Yeah.
Totally. Well, we better wrap it up.
Yeah.
Better wrap this one up.
Okay. Because next week.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope you made it to the end. And if you've learnt something from this, and comments, please. Personal experiences, advice, whatever.
How we could make this better. If this is something that we want to, more info or more discussion, you just send us the questions and the conundrums, and we will do what we can.
We will sit here.
We will humanly do what we can, because we're human too, right?
Let's be human about it.
Okay. Thanks.
Remember to press like, share it with a friend. Maybe, who might enjoy this episode. But
might need this episode. Share it with someone who you think might need this episode. Do it privately if you think it's too much. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for
Christmas special.
Oh, Christmas special. We're doing a Christmas special
next week.
Steph says we're doing a Christmas special.
Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Thanks, folks.